Disneyland Spring Break crowds are underway. The Food and Wine Festival happening now. Refurbishment schedules across the resort. Lots of construction and more. The Disneyland Update is back. Well, it has been a minute, hasn't it? Hey friends, Wade for The Kingdom Report back with you once again to cover both Disneyland theme parks, the 3 hotels of the Disneyland Resort, and of course the downtown Disney District as we celebrate 100 years of wonder of the Walt Disney Company. Disneyland Resort taking center stage for that celebration, but let's not waste any time and jump right into the updates. We step off Main Street and hang a left, starting out in Adventureland, where 2 things of note are taking place in this very area. That is, the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, Indiana Jones Adventure, continues to be under wraps. A lengthy refurbishment dating all the way back to January. It's supposed to be coming back to us in spring 2023. Now, in Disney speak, that sometimes can be up until May, so keep that in mind. This attraction desperately needed some attention. It was breaking down multiple times a day. Great to see it finally happen. And right next door, Tarzan's Treehouse, the transformation that we have been watching for what feels like years at this point, continues. And we are wondering exactly when it will reopen as this new fangled tree that we get to see the concept art of. It is scheduled to return to us at some point in 2023. The exact designation of season has yet to be announced. Looking forward to seeing that finally come to fruition. Another to-be-determined timeline that has yet to be announced in terms of coming back to us will be what was formerly the French Market, now Tiana's Palace. This location going through a major overhaul for the sake of being reborn ahead of Splash Mountain's re-theme to the Tiana Princess and the Frog attraction. The Tiana's Palace will have an entirely new front to the location, and no doubt props within are going to be swapped out entirely, and the theme of Tiana's restaurant from the film will come to life in this space. Lots of construction work happening on the patio as well. If there's any possible way they can increase seating in this area, that also would be fantastic. And down on the waterfront, the Mark Twain Riverboat at Fowler's Harbor is in dry dock, getting the TLC that it so deserves. Hardworking cast members here making it sparkle, and it'll be back to us in just a few days. However, if you need to get out on the water, you can still take that sailing ship Columbia up around the rivers of America. From there, we slide on into Critter Country, where Splash Mountain continues to operate at this time. We know that the version of it out in Florida has already shut down at the Magic Kingdom back in January, making way for that new Princess and the Frog themed attraction. When will it close at Disneyland? The rumors suggest potentially May of this year. However, we are still waiting for official word from Disney. Splash Mountain may be on hold for the time being until late spring because there are so many refurbishments still coming for other rides across the property. They don't want too many to be down at any one time. One of the attractions that continues to garner a lot of attention and gobble up crowds, Rise of the Resistance over at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. In fact, in the morning, people still run this direction over the newly opened Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Speaking of, we drop into Mickey's Toon Town, where only a portion of the land is open at this time. The Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway attraction really does pack in a lot of people. They built this sucker to accommodate big crowds, and they did drop the digital virtual queue recently, going strictly standby and lightning lane at this point, and have to say, 65 minutes isn't too bad for a ride that is considered to be brand new. Now, the rest of Toontown continues to be under wraps for the most part, and you see walls up kind of blocking you from the rest of the land, and that is because this baby is getting ready to open up to us here in the coming weeks. They did push back the opening of the rest of the land to March 19th, no doubt due to all of the sort of radical weather that Southern California has been having, and probably pushing those construction schedules back just a smidge. Something else that's been very well received since the land has opened up on this side at least is the green space that has been added in front of Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin. Of course, this attraction will also come back to us as soon as Toon Town officially opens back up. Even more green space as part of the redeveloped land back behind the walls. Something else that we can see though that is not back behind the walls, Cafe Daisy, not yet open, but definitely preparing for it in front of the 3 food stall front that used to be there. Now just 2 windows and one that has been eliminated entirely. We blast into the future of Tomorrowland now, where we want to head on up to the monorail station to make note of the fact that the Disneyland monorail going under the knife for a few days, starting March the 20th, coming back to us the 23rd for a brief refurbishment. No doubt all of these cabs need extensive attention as they continue to showcase wear and tear since they returned last year. And something else we wanted to make note of, they continue to have this concept art right in front of Tomorrowland of what the new entrance portal to Tomorrowland is supposed to look like. This has now been sitting for several years right here in this spot. Anybody want to take a bet as to when that's finally going to happen? We also know that the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad attraction is going to go under its own refurbishment coming up here in Frontierland starting April the 3rd through the 13th. Let's talk about spring break crowds for a second. If you plan on visiting the Disneyland Resort between the months of March and April, you will no doubt find yourself in the middle of spring breakers. That's because most school districts no longer sort of isolate the spring break season to a week or so altogether, sort of focusing on the same week. Nope, now it's all over the place, all across the country, and therefore the Disneyland Resort is prepared for it right now. You're already seeing reservations booked out for normal weekdays, and that is because everybody is coming to these parks. So keep in mind, you need your reservations to get in. Your ticket alone does not work, and all of the extra queues are set up in anticipation of these big crowds. We take a look at some of the wait times as well, and you'll notice that most attractions not even seeing 25 minutes or less, majority all 30, 45, and 60-minute wait times at the moment. So back your patience if you are coming to the Disneyland Resort within the next 2 months.
Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love like glowing in your eyes so true. Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you. Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you.
Who doesn't love the barbershop quartet of the Dapper Dans of Disneyland? And from there, we move across the Esplanade to Disney California Adventure Park, where recently the resort changed their policy on park hopping times. It used to be 1 p.m. was when you could cross over from either park to visit the other if you have a park hopping ticket. However, that has now been moved up to 11 a.m., making a huge difference in crowd flow and a huge difference in everybody's demeanor. People are a lot more positive now. And you swing around the corner from Buena Vista Street into Hollywood Land, where there is a lot going on back here, a lot to discuss. We'll start at Mickey's PhilharMagic at the Sunset Showcase Theater, where this attraction recently came back from its own brief refurbishment. Things are looking fresh and new on the inside. If you have yet to check out this 3D experience, you must. It is such a treat. We move across the street to the animation building, where something that has recently changed is something we have yet to touch on because we haven't been around for a while. But we got to share with you that Anna and Elsa are back here inside the animation building. You can meet them once again at the character close-up location. Back outside the animation building, and a look across the street showcases all kinds of facade work happening on this end of Hollywood Land, Rich, vibrant colors are being put into place, and dare I say, it looks even better than it used to look on this edge of the property. On the backside of this facade, the Hollywood backlot area is filled with food and wine festival activities, including 2 of the 12 food booths. You see here a map sort of showcasing how stretched all of these locations are across the entirety of the park, which is great because they need to be stretched out in order to move all these crowds around that really do come in specifically for the festival. Something you can do with your kids if you decide to. Here in the Hollywood backlot section is Alice's Wonderland Bakery, a sort of festival treat, if I do say so myself, a place where your little ones can come in, put on the chef hat, work with Alice herself, and create their own cupcake delicacy in this space. It fills up quick, and we encourage you to get there early to get your spot. And if you're so inclined on meeting a Goofy chef, you got yourself an opportunity here in the back lot. Directly across from Goofy is the new Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur meet and greet. This Disney Channel animated series is quite popular, and no bigger announcement in Hollywoodland recently has shaken us like this one, but Rogers the Musical will premiere at Disney California Adventure Park this summer in the shuttered Hyperion Theater. We have been watching this theater for you for the last few years. No doubt it has been completely dark since before the pandemic closures, and now we finally have a new show coming to us. Rogers the Musical, a fictional Broadway production inspired by the first Captain America's life, seen in a nearly 5-minute segment of the Disney Plus series Hawkeye from Marvel Studios. Its arrival at Disneyland will mark the first time it has appeared beyond the screen. Since we're on the topic of Marvel, we should move into Avengers Campus, where Kang the Conqueror is now meeting and greeting after the Quantum Mania film. Something else worth noting in this land is that the Web Slingers attraction, the Spider-Man ride, is no longer all that much in demand. I mean, it still sees a respectable 40 to 60 minute wait on most days. However, it continues to be a ride that is much more manageable when it comes to crowds lately. So definitely something to think of the next time you're in California Adventure. We head on over to the Pacific Wharf area of the park, where lots of work being done, getting this space ready to be transformed into San Francisco, the Big Hero 6 part of the franchise, where this area is going to have its own San Francisco bridge. Right now, the bridge that used to be here completely under wraps with both ends blocked off. In fact, you need to walk all the way up and around the Bodine Bakery and hang a right at the Ghirardelli ice cream shop in order to get over to this side of things. However, the bridge itself really coming together, and the space over next to Cocina Cucamonga also walled off for the sake of the new meet and greet for Baymax that is coming, as well as new places to eat and shop. Very much looking forward to San Francisco Square, as they are calling it, to make its way on into the Pacific Wharf region of the park. All said to be coming our way by summer of this year. Are you looking forward to seeing San Francisco come on into this area of the park? If so, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know down in the comments. We head on out to Pixar Pier now, where Silly Symphony Swings is gone. That's right, yeah, stripped down to its nuts and bolts. They usually do this about once a year, and they completely rebuild it. No return date as of yet, according to Disney. However, if history is to tell us anything, this usually takes about a month and a half to complete, so hopefully we will see it back in the middle of April. And across from Silly Symphony Swings in the Paradise Garden section of the park, the Garden Grill restaurant, the Flex restaurant as it were, for any festival that might be happening, has gotten its new menu. That's right, the Food and Wine Festival menu has moved in alongside some really great live entertainment across the entirety of the park for this festival. Cannot miss acts that you need to go out of your way for. Another thing that's very popular this time of year is the festival beer garden here in the Paradise Gardens section. Definitely something to check out. And if you want to take part in the Food and Wine festivities, you do have until April the 25th to get your food and drink on. As always, if you get the Sip and Savor Pass, we like to remind you to go ahead and order at one location whatever you'd like from other locations, and then just show up to those locations with your receipt to say, here's what I want, and they'll go ahead and grab it for you. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting in line at each and every festival marketplace, and these lines can get insanely long at certain points during the day. You definitely want to be cautious of that. And of course, arts and crafts for the kids, as well as lots of live entertainment out on the main stage in front of the World of Color Bay. It is absolutely a festival that we look forward to every single year, and you need to make a stop off just to experience it yourself. From there, we move on over to the Grizzly Peak Recreation Area, where we head around the bend, or bear left, if you will. It takes us on over to the Grizzly River Run attraction, always going through a major refurbishment during the winter months so it can come back to us in time for spring break. The water is drained and the final touch-ups are happening right now. We can anticipate Grizzly River Run coming back to us on March the 16th. Looking forward to seeing this behemoth of an attraction ready for all of those spring break crowds. And another great thing to share with you is that over here in the Grizzly Peak Airfield, a classic has returned. Soarin' over California is now back for a limited time in this space. It is an attraction that everybody seems to prefer over the World Edition. It's here for the duration of the Food and Wine Festival. And from the theme park to the hotel district we go, where Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa is definitely in the swing of things when it comes to this 100 Years of Wonder celebration. They even created a spectacular edible display here in their lobby, complete with the Fab Five and a giant Sleeping Beauty castle behind them. This is some quality work from the culinary team and absolutely a photo you need to snap. And if you've ever wanted to walk the red carpet, now's your opportunity. Just off to the side of the lobby is an Oscars celebration station, even a viewing party, yep, a watch party coming to this hotel. You can get your photo in front of not only the backdrop, but also with a giant Academy Award, if you so choose. We cross the street now to Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel, where all kinds of construction work is happening. Everything's walled off on the front end of the property still to make way for the Pixar theme that is coming to this property. Pixar Pier Hotel is on its way. You see lots of new colors being infused into this property's facade, and in addition to that, lots of crews working around the clock trying to make this Pixar theme a reality. You can still stay here, by the way. The location is open for reservations and people are in those rooms. We just want to make reference to the fact that if you're looking to dine at a restaurant in the hotel or shop in any of the locations in this property, you are out of luck, as those are also offline during this entire sort of upgrade and refurbishment. However, there's a makeshift front desk and a makeshift gift shop right alongside that. We step out the back door to the Disneyland Hotel now, where in their lobby, they are also celebrating the 100 Years of Wonder with this throwback backdrop, complete with the Walt Disney Studios of yesteryear and a giant Walt Disney cutout. It's pretty cool, and might I say, looks really good on camera when you snap that photo. Also outside, in front of the Fantasy Tower, lots of foundational work happening, new sidewalks being poured, and some new sort of horticulture type fixtures being placed into this property. So very cool to see. You can still access all of the amenities of the property. You just got to walk around the pinch points. And speaking of pinch points, boy, this new DVC tower has definitely inched right in next to everything else, hasn't it? You see here a lot of the concept art that has recently been shared with us as to what this property is going to look like when it is all said and done. Very much a modern take on a classic, and they have announced that the Disney Vacation Club Villas here at the Disneyland Hotel, this new tower, will be opening on September 28th, 2023, and guests will be able to begin booking these villas starting March 17th. We trot on into downtown Disney now, where there are walls everywhere through this district. There's a lot happening, not just on the western end, where we expect all the development to take place for the expansion, but also new walls that have popped up in front of the Star Wars Trading Post. When we take a look over the fence line, we can see not a lot happening just in terms of dirt and running some cables. That's just about it. Very slow progress on this western development of the new downtown Disney. We can't wait to see what it all looks like after things are said and done. However, it's going to take us quite a while to get there. And throughout downtown Disney, they too are celebrating the Disney 100 Years of Wonder with various elements that you can interact with. If you happen to have the Magic Band Plus device, all you got to do is wave it around in front of these things and you'll see them react. It's pretty cool at night especially. I told you there were a lot of walls in downtown Disney right now, and that continues with Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen, not just on the exterior patio area, but also in front of the old express area of the restaurant. You see a makeshift express area off to the left there, and then, of course, the host check-in stand to the right. They are still seating people to dine here. It's just upstairs, and when you take a look upstairs, you see exactly what the Jazz Kitchen is going to look like overall. What do you think about that? We would love to hear from you. And right next door, the Wonderground Gallery, alongside the Disney Home Store, they too are getting a lot of facade work done, as well as some construction inside we could see. There is a lot of movement, oddly enough, up high where nothing is. So not necessarily sure exactly what's coming to this space. However, it is definitely an upgrade if both of these stores are to be kept, as we are told they are going to be. So we will keep our eye on it for you. And having recently moved into the old La Brea Bakery location right outside the main gate of Disneyland is the new Earl of Sandwich, a crowd favorite that people absolutely love. The restaurant itself is also experimenting with a sit-down option. The Earl of Sandwich Tavern, restaurant and bar is what they are calling it. And with it comes, well, tavern sit-down restaurant prices. No longer is it a sort of cheap destination on the table service side. However, it is still much a value on the left-hand side, which is basically their old setup of a quick service type window where you come in and order your sandwich. They just have a lot more room now than ever before, which is great and absolutely something Earl of Sandwich needed to begin with. I love having it so close to the main gate of Disneyland now. Having that value option right outside the entrance is really cool. And throughout downtown Disney at select restaurants, anywhere you see this sign, it means that they too are getting into the act of the Food and Wine Festival with special menu items to select from. So if you see this sign, stop off and take a look. Well, that about does it for this edition of The Update. Thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast, and if we've earned it, a subscribe along with a thumbs up means an awful lot. And be sure to leave us a comment as to what you think regarding all the latest changes here at the Disneyland Resort. We would love to hear from you. With the Kenny Report, I'm Wade Heath. We'll see you next time for another installment of the Disneyland Drop-In.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.